Welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll be looking at building up the bathroom. So I'll cover the vanity, building up the shower, and adding the bath and toilet as well. From the last video, I've added the walls and this door here. So now I'm going to start building up this bathroom, starting with this vanity here. So first, we can see, because this bathroom is quite small, it's a bit difficult to get a good angle looking into it in the 3D view. So I'm going to show you how to cut this wall here so that we can see better. So first, let's create a duplicate of this open roof. And let's name this open roof bathroom. Now, in this properties tab for this 3D view, if we scroll down, you see this option, the section box. If we tick this and scroll out, you'll see this big rectangular box. So this denotes what the current view is, what the view encompasses. So if we actually drag these arrows, it will cut the walls wherever the box is. So if we want to see into the bathroom, we can just drag the box here. And now we're able to see the bathroom easily. So we'll be working in this view for the bathroom. Okay, so let's get started. So for the vanity, similar to how we did the kitchen in the previous video, we're going to go to Architecture, Component, and we're going to load a family. Go back to the directory and go to Casework, Base Cabinets, and if we scroll towards the bottom, there's these vanity cabinets here. So depending on the size of your vanity cabinet, you'll choose one of these. Please refer to the practical list as well. That gives you what each size of cabinet should look like. So this one is quite a large one with 4 drawers. For purposes of this design, I think this double door unit is suitable. So let's open this up. Again, spacebar to rotate, and we're just going to put it down centered. Now, we need to make sure that it matches the size of the floor plan. So here, if we measure, oh, actually, let's undo this placement. Let's measure this first. Okay, this is 900. So if we redo the placement, we can change the size of this cabinet to 900 millimeters. Oh, there's actually one here already. Perfect. Okay, great. So now, let's just use the Move tool to make sure that it's lined up properly. I'm going to click here and then here. Okay, now that's lined up. You can see that it kind of, it's a bit, the depth of it is a bit thicker than what it is on the floor plan, but that's okay. It won't really be evident in the final render, so don't worry about it too much. Okay, so we'll just double check what it looks like in the open roof bathroom view. Okay, that looks good. Now let's add the bench top. So again, Architecture, Component, Load Family, go back, Countertops, and we're going to choose the vanity countertops. So for the standard design, we actually use the square sink for the bathroom sink units. But yeah, please try to stick to this one, but it's not a huge deal if you end up using the round one. Okay, so let's use the square. Rotate. Now this one's a bit big, so So before placing it down, we can just edit the length here. So let's make this 900. And you'll see because, oh, maybe it didn't work. Okay, let's place it down first. Okay, it did work. You'll see because we changed the length, the sink is no longer centered. So we'll need to adjust these values here so that it's centered. So we just move this around, we'll see the number that changes. So let's move sink location. This should be in the center. So previously the length was 1,200. So the sink location was 600, which is half of that. So now that the length is 900, let's change this to 450. Okay, great. Now the sink hole is centered, and that looks good. Now the next part, now for the actual sink, I would suggest to use your rendering software, Lumion, to add the sink later. The sinks that are present in Revit are not quite what we're looking for. So using the one in Lumion will give you a better result. So just leave that. You can leave this empty for now, and we can fill it in the rendering software. Okay, next let's build up, let's add the splashback here and a mirror as well. Okay, so to do this, we're going to first create another section. So similar to how we did it for the kitchen, we're going to make another section here so that we can look at it in 2D view. So to do that, go to View, Section, and just create a section like this. And because the arrow is pointing to the right, we want it flipped. So click this arrow icon and it'll flip it. Great. Now while I'm here, let's rename these sections so we don't get confused. So section kitchen, and section 3, the one we just made, is section bathroom. Okay, so let's open this up, drag this over here. Now we can see the cabinet. This is the bench top here. So we're going to add a splashback that goes up, and then a mirror on top of that. So similar to the splashback that we did for the kitchen, let's go to the section and measure the distance above ground level, the ground floor. So do that, modify, measure, and we're going to measure this distance here, 851.6. Okay. So now we're going to go to architecture, wall, and we're going to select the splashback, the one that we made for the kitchen. And we're going to define the base offset as, I've forgotten already, 851.6, I think it was. Let's measure that again. 851.6. So base offset 851.6, and up to level, we're going to do the ceiling minus, let's say 600, minus 600 for now. But we can change this afterwards if, or actually, no, sorry, for the splashback, we're going to do unconnected, and we're going to make the unconnected height 200 millimeters. Okay. You can change this. It's not a hard and fast rule, so it doesn't have to be exactly 200. But so let's put this there. Check it in the open roof. Okay. So that's what the splashback looks like. If it's too high up, you can just change this unconnected height to 100, and it'll drop down. Okay, so let's leave it at 100 for now, and then we're going to add a mirror on top of this. So now we know that the height from the ground floor up to this height here is 851, and the height of this is 100. So now we need to add another wall at 951 going up for the mirror. So let's do that. So change this base offset to 951, and we're going to make the unconnected height, let's say 600. And we're going to create a duplicate of this wall because we want to be able to change the material without it affecting the other splashbacks as well. So we're going to call this mirror 20 millimeters. And we're going to edit the structure and change the material to, is there a mirror property? There is. Okay, so let's select one of these. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's choose this one. Add it to the document, select it, click OK. Thickness is 20, that's fine. Okay, now we're just going to draw it again on top of the previous splashback that we drew. Remember the space bar if you need to flip it across the wall. Now let's check it. Okay, so this height isn't quite high enough. So let's increase the unconnected height to, let's say 900. Okay, that looks good. So now we've made the mirror. We have a splashback. So this sink unit is essentially done. Now let's move on to creating the shower. So for the shower, we're going to need to make a base plate, and then we're going to have a kind of a rim, and then glass panels on the sides. Okay, so let's start with the base. So for the base, we're going to use the floor. Okay, so let's go to edit type, and we're going to duplicate this generic one, and we're going to make it 10 millimeter thick, and we're going to call it shower base. And so we're going to go to structure, edit this thickness to 10 millimeters, and we're going to change the material. Let's make this the laminate. This one, ivory matte. Okay. Oh, actually, let's make this porcelain. Porcelain ivory. Okay, let's add this. The reason that we want to make it slightly different, but the same color, is so that when we edit it in Lumion, this material will look different than the laminate material. We want it to have a different, for example, different glossiness, different reflectivity, and so on. If we have them be the same material, when we change them in Lumion, they'll all end up looking the same, and that's not necessarily what we want. So okay, let's make this. So now we have a floor that's 10 millimeters thick, and if we just draw it in now, it'll end up being placed inside the floor. So what we need to do is increase the height offset from the level. Because it's 10 millimeters thick, let's make the height offset 10 millimeters. And we're just going to draw in the shower base like this. Okay, finish. And now if we check the open roof bathroom, we can see we have a shower base. Now let's draw in. Okay, so we need to draw in the 4 sides. So these sides here, these 2 sides will have a short rim, so that water doesn't just spill out. And then these sides, the sides facing the walls, will have a shower back. So you're free to design this however you like, but the shower back needs to extend up to at least the height of this mirror here. Okay, it can go higher. It's quite arbitrary. You can refer to the floor, your floor plan. It usually does give the height of these splashbacks and the mirror and the shower as well. but in the render, it won't be too obvious whether the heights are exact. So you don't have to worry about it too much. Okay, so let's start by drawing in the shower back. Okay, so to do that, we're going to create a wall again. And for this example, I'm just going to use the splashback. It's going to have the same tiling as the splashback. So let's start with this. Remember that this shower base is 10 millimeters off the floor. So we're going to start this base offset at 10 millimeters. And this, we're going to make the top constraint go up to the ceiling minus 600. This, we might need to change this. I'll see what it looks like once we place it in. But let's just go ahead and do that now. So remember it's on the wrong side, so spacebar to flip. Just draw it in like that. So you can see that because we've placed it next to a wall, it's kind of merged in to the same wall. If you want to see the difference, go to realist. Oh, maybe it doesn't work. Okay, you'll have to see it in the 3D view. So just draw it in first, like that. Go to the 3D view, and you can see that's what it looks like. Okay, so we do need to change the height a little bit. So let's control click to select both these walls, and we're going to change this top offset to minus 450. Okay, so that's a good looking height. It's a bit higher than the mirror, so that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to draw in the rest of the shower base here. So to do that, we're going to use another wall, and we're going to duplicate this splashback. We want it to be the same material as the shower base. So let's call this shower base again. And we're going to change the material. So instead of tiles, it's going to be that porcelain that we added. Great. And 20 millimeter thickness is fine. And now we're just going to draw it in like that. So again, check the open roof. Now, I forgot to change the height. So control click these two. And instead of up to level ceiling, we're going to do unconnected and just make it, let's try 20 millimeters. Oh, maybe that's not high enough. Let's make this, let's do 100 for now. I think that's a bit too high. Let's make this, will 50 work? Okay, yeah, 50 works. So let's have it be 50. So now we can see we need to add the glass panels, and we know that the height above the ground level is currently 10, which is the thickness of the shower base, plus 50, which is the height of the this rim here. So a total of 60. Okay, so let's make another wall, and we're going to again edit type, and we're going to duplicate this, and we're going to call this shower panel. And the shower panel is going to be made out of glass. Glass. Okay. Now let's change these height parameters. So up to level, we want it to be 450 to match the height of the shower back, and the base offset is going to be, well, we said it was 60, but let's make this 70 so that there's a 10 millimeter gap. It will end up looking a bit better in the final render. Okay, so this base offset is the height of the shower base plus the rim plus 10 millimeters. and we'll just draw it in on top of the rim. Like that. There you go. Now you have a shower. You also have the option of adding an aluminium rod kind of going up like this. And you can do that by just creating another wall type, change the material to steel, aluminium, or something like that. And then you can just draw it. So you can pull these walls back. Oh, that's the wrong one. And you can just draw in just a wall like this. If you do, if you do like that, and you'll end up with a square column of just the steel or the aluminium that you choose. Oh, okay, so in this tutorial I won't be doing that, but you have that option if you'd like. So now the shower is essentially complete. If we want to add the tapware we can add later on in Lumion. So don't worry about adding it here. This shower is basically complete in terms of what we can do in this in Revit. All right, now let's move on to adding the bathtub. So here, because the bathtub is cut off a little bit, I'm actually going to go to the section box, and I'm going to drag this arrow back a little bit so that we can see the bathroom. Sorry, the bathtub. Okay, so going back to the ground floor, let's measure the size of this bathtub. Okay, so it's approximately 1,700. So if we go to architecture, component, load family, and go back, we go to plumbing. Let's go architectural and fixtures. Then you have bathtubs. So now you can choose one that matches your floor plan. So this one, even though it has the wall here, it doesn't mean that you'll be adding a wall. It just means that the bathroom has to be placed on a wall. So this one looks good. This one matches the floor plan. So we're going to import that. I'm going to check if it has any extra sizes. It does not, so that's fine. And we're just going to just add it in like that. So if we go to edit type, we'll see that we can change the depth, the height, and the width. Okay, so let's do that. We said that the width was approximately 1,700. We can make it exact. So again, let's double check this width here. 1689.7. And then we can use the move tool to move it in place. So I'd like to choose the corner. And now it's the exact length. Now we can do the same for the depth, the width as well. So again, modify, measure this width. So basically 900. So we can edit type again, change the depth to 900. And there we go. So that's the bathtub. Now, one thing to note is that for most of these curved objects, later on, when you export it to Lumion, make sure that this option here, the detail level medium, is set to fine. If it's not set to fine, you might find that after exporting it into the rendering software, these curved edges become quite blocky and jagged. And that's because this detail level isn't high enough. So the default was set to medium. Remember to set it to fine when you export to your rendering software. And I'll remind you of this when we go over exporting to the rendering software. Okay, so for now I'm going to change it back to medium, just so that it loads a bit faster. And so we're almost complete. So now the only thing left is this toilet. So go back to the ground floor, architecture, component, load family. Go back, and we have water closets here. Water closets are toilets. And you can find this one. You can refer to the IP design practical list again, and it will show you what the toilets should look like. This one is fairly close, so you can use this. Let's open this up. And we're just going to place it right there. And that's basically it. You can change the material of this bathtub. It's already set to porcelain, which is perfect. And we can also change the material for this toilet as well to be, okay, this is also porcelain, but it's a different color. So you can change it to match the bathtub and the shower if you'd like. I'm just going to leave it like that. And that's basically it for the bathroom. You can repeat these steps for any other bathrooms that you have. So for example, I have the ensuite here. So I can basically do the same vanity cabinet, same toilet, and the same shower for the ensuite. Oh, and now one last thing that we need to add to the bathroom is the splashbacks. Sorry, the tiling. So in the wet rooms, there are usually tiling that is specified in your floor plan. So in my case, what it will look like is there will be tiling that goes from the ground level up 200 millimeters, wherever there isn't like a cabinet or a bathtub in the way. So for example, if I rotate this view, this section here will be tiled up to a height of 200 millimeters all the way around. Also above your bathtub will be tiling as well. And the height of that tiling, you'll have to refer to your floor plan. But if it's not there, you can assume a height of like 400 millimeters. Okay, so let's quickly do that. So again, ground floor, gonna make the wall. Let's save this. And we're gonna choose the splashback that we made, because it's gonna be the same tiling. The base offset is 0 because this is gonna be on the ground level. And we're gonna do an unconnected height of 200. And we're just gonna draw in these walls all the way around, like this. You can stop here at the bathtub because you won't be able to see it, even if you draw it in here, because the bathtub will be in the way. So we'll continue here and here. So that's the tiling on the ground. You can see that's what it looks like now. That might be a bit too high actually. I think it might be 100 millimeters instead, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. And now I'm going to do the bathtub. So for the bathtub, we need to check how high the bathtub is. So go back to the section for the bathroom, and we're going to measure this height here. So 380. Okay, so we're going to, again, create a wall, and we're going to make the unconnected height, let's say 400. And base offset is 380, which is the height of the bathtub. And we're just going to draw a wall across like this. And there we go. That's what it'll look like. Okay, so now this is essentially the completed bathroom. Noting that the flooring should be tiled. It's not tiled in my example. And yep, so that concludes the bathroom. Thank you for watching.